Chosen one, listen carefully. Have you noticed how the very people you kept rescuing are the same ones who almost destroyed you? The ones who smiled while secretly draining your strength? God says, enough. This is not about kindness, this is about survival. That help you gave, that blessing you offered, nearly cost you your life. And heaven saw it. Heaven marked it. This message is not just advice. It is a divine warning sent directly to your spirit. A signal that you cannot ignore. You thought you were pouring light into empty vessels, but in reality they were shadows feeding off your soul. Every time you lifted them up, they dug deeper into your essence. Every time you sacrificed, they disguised their chains as gratitude. And while you believed you were saving them, they were silently preparing your downfall. But the Almighty interrupted their plan. He stopped what you could not see, and now He speaks. If you continue helping those damned ones, you will lose not only your peace, but the very calling that sets you apart. This is your moment of awakening. This is heaven pulling you out of the trap before it swallows you whole. Do not take these words lightly. They are sharper than any sword, designed to cut through the illusions that blinded you. Stay with me until the end of this message, because what I'm about to reveal will shift the way you see every relationship around you. And before we move forward, seal this moment with faith. Hit the like button as a sign that you receive this word. Subscribe if you haven't, because the chosen cannot walk alone. We rise together. And write the number 99 in the comments. Why? Because 99 is the seal of divine completion, the proof that what tried to end you has already failed. It is your spiritual code of protection. Type it now and let the enemy see that you are still standing stronger than ever. Chosen one, there is a secret pattern that almost no one talks about, yet it has enslaved so many of God's people. It is the cycle of endless giving. It doesn't come with chains. It doesn't come with visible prisons. It comes dressed as kindness, as compassion, as responsibility. The manipulators know exactly how to play the role of the helpless one. They put on the mask of innocence, the mask of weakness, and they let you believe that if you do not step in, their world will collapse. And because your heart is pure, because your spirit was built to serve, you step in every single time. You sacrifice your time, your rest, your energy, and even your clarity, just to hold up someone who never intended to stand on their own. Think back. How many nights did you stay awake carrying problems that weren't yours? How many times did you cancel your own plans, silence your own pain, just so someone else could keep pretending they were the victim? And still, it was never enough. No matter how much you gave, they always came back needing more. It's a hunger that never ends, because it was never about survival. It was about control. They discovered the quickest way to keep you chained, not by threatening you, but by making you feel guilty if you didn't come running. And the cruelest part? They knew you would. They knew that your compassion is your greatest strength, but also the very door they could exploit. This cycle does more than exhaust your body. It eats away at your spirit. You begin to doubt your own discernment, wondering if helping them is your duty or your destruction. You notice your prayers grow heavier, your clarity gets foggier, and suddenly your victories feel delayed, as if every time you pour into them, your own blessings stall. And you ask yourself, why am I so drained? Why does it feel like the more I give, the less I have left? It is because these people were never truly receiving. They were consuming. They weren't healed by your help. They were feeding on your light. And here is the hidden danger. Endless giving blinds you. It convinces you that sacrifice is always holy, even when God Himself never asked for that sacrifice. There is a difference between serving God's plan and becoming a slave to someone else's manipulation. Heaven never designed you to carry weights that would strangle your own destiny. Every time you choose them over your divine assignment, you trade purpose for pity, and that trade is deadly. The enemy knows he cannot stop the chosen directly, so he sends counterfeits disguised as fragile souls. They come into your life not with demands, but with stories. Stories that stir your compassion, tears that make you question your boundaries, voices that whisper, "If you really loved me, you would help." And once they find that weak spot, they never let go. They make their survival your responsibility. They build their comfort on your exhaustion, and little by little you lose yourself, not in battle with demons, but in chains forged by your own kindness. But listen closely. God saw what you could not. He saw how their survival depended on draining your strength. He saw how their smiles hid the silent joy of knowing they had you trapped. And he is saying, enough. The cycle must end before it consumes everything you've worked for. The altar of your destiny cannot be sacrificed at the feet of manipulators who refuse to rise. Heaven will not let them kill you slowly under the disguise of love. And yet here lies the tension. If you stop helping, they will rage. If you walk away, they will paint you as the villain. They will twist your light into cruelty. But that is the proof. That is the revelation. Because real love rejoices when you are free. But false love panics when you refuse to be their prisoner. So hear this. The cycle is breaking. God himself is tearing the mask off every manipulator in your life. Their guilt trips will no longer bind you. Their tears will no longer control you. Their survival will no longer depend on your destruction. The trap is exposed, but the question remains. Will you have the courage to step out of it before it's too late? Chosen one, there is a darker disguise more dangerous than the mask of weakness. It is the mask of gratitude. It looks innocent, even beautiful. It comes wrapped in smiles, words of thankfulness, promises of loyalty. But behind it hides a trap so subtle, so poisonous that even the strongest can fall. These people have studied you carefully. They know that you long to see the fruit of your sacrifice. They know that if they show you even a glimpse of appreciation, you will keep pouring into them. And so they perform. They clap the loudest, they speak the sweetest, they flood you with compliments until you believe that finally your giving was worth it. But their gratitude was never real. It was a strategy. Watch closely. True gratitude does not demand more from you. It releases you. It honors you by respecting your space, by learning from what you gave, by becoming stronger on its own. But false gratitude keeps you chained. It makes you think, they really value me. They really depend on me. I cannot let them down. And so you stay longer than you should. You give more than you can. You silence the alarms in your spirit because their words sound so kind. Yet kindness that costs you your freedom is not kindness. It is bait. Have you noticed how their thankfulness is always exaggerated? How their smiles are a little too wide, their promises a little too grand. I'll never forget what you've done for me, they say, even as they plot their next request. You are the reason I'm still here, they cry, even as they prepare to drain you again. Their gratitude is not a reflection of their heart. It is a weapon to access yours. And with every compliment, they gain deeper entry into your trust, into your schedule, into your soul. The danger lies not in their words, but in what those words make you ignore. While they shower you with praise, doors in your own life remain closed. While you carry them further, your own blessings are delayed, because heaven will never allow counterfeit loyalty to coexist with your divine calling. The more you feed them, the more blind you become to what you are losing. And the tragedy is this: their gratitude feels like proof that you are doing good, when in truth, it is the very evidence that they've learned how to keep you enslaved. Think about it. When did their smiles appear? Was it when you struggled? When you were in the fire? When you had nothing? Or was it only after your light began to shine? After your victories became visible? After your spirit started rising? Real loyalty stands in your desert. False loyalty shows up only at your harvest. And once they see your fruit, they rush to act thankful, not because they honor you, but because they want a seat at the table they never paid the price to build. The mask of gratitude is deadly because it blinds you with emotions. You think, Finally, someone appreciates me. Finally, someone sees me. And that thought lowers your guard. You allow them closer than anyone else. You give them secrets. You give them access. You hand them keys. But what you don't realize is that every thank you was not a gift. It was an exchange. They gave you words, and in return, you gave them pieces of your destiny. And here lies the chilling truth. Gratitude becomes manipulation when it is used to make you ignore your discernment. Gratitude becomes poison when it makes you stay in a place where your spirit is suffocating. Gratitude becomes a mask when it hides the face of someone who is only there to take, never to build. And behind that mask, they laugh, because they know the more you believe their performance, the more they can strip you of your strength. But heaven unmasks every counterfeit. And God whispers to you now, do not mistake sweet words for pure intentions. Do not confuse applause for covenant. Do not sell your peace for the price of flattery. For every thank you that came from their lips, a dagger of betrayal was hidden behind their back. And this is the revelation. The blessing you thought was saving them was secretly designed to bury you. Chosen one, there is a weight more dangerous than persecution. It is the invisible weight of carrying the wrong people. It is the unseen tax on your destiny that drains you quietly, little by little, until you wake up and wonder how you lost years of your life to people who were never assigned to your journey. This is the cost of misplaced loyalty, and it is higher than you ever imagined. Think about the doors that should have opened by now. Think about the moments when favor was ready to locate you, but you were too entangled in someone else's chaos to even notice. Opportunities have expiration dates. Blessings have windows. And while heaven was aligning breakthroughs for you, you were stuck extinguishing fires that weren't even yours. That job that slipped away, that connection that never happened, that dream that stayed delayed. How many of those were casualties of your decision to carry people God never asked you to? There are alliances that look harmless, but are spiritually toxic. They don't just slow you down, they alter your atmosphere. Wrong people attract wrong battles. When you align yourself with someone carrying rebellion, compromise, or hidden darkness, their storms spill over into your boat. You find yourself fighting waves that were never meant to touch you. You find yourself sinking under waters that had no authority over your assignment. And suddenly, what was supposed to be a season of peace feels like endless warfare. All because you attached yourself to a weight heaven never authorized. Even your health pays the price. Carrying the wrong people doesn't just exhaust your spirit, it weakens your body. Sleepless nights, anxious thoughts, constant fatigue. You tell yourself you're just stressed, but in reality, your soul is under siege. When you tie yourself to those who refuse to heal, their demons wrestle your peace. And every time you try to rest, you feel their chains tugging on your freedom. This is why your energy feels stolen, your joy feels faint, your spirit feels heavy. It is not you. It is the cost of carrying passengers who were never meant to sit in your boat. But here is the chilling part. While you are sacrificing yourself for them, they are not rising with you. They are not learning. They are not growing. They are not preparing to stand. They are simply leaning harder, letting you collapse while they remain comfortable. And when you are too weak to continue, they will not carry you. They will simply find another to exploit. This is why heaven is shouting at you now. Let them go. Because every step you take with the wrong people delays the place you were meant to reach. Do not underestimate how much you have already lost. Heaven kept track of every night you cried, every moment you almost collapsed, because you were carrying weights that God never told you to carry. And yet here is the hope. God also kept track of your endurance. He saw your tears, He saw your sacrifice, and He marked your faithfulness. That is why this warning has come, not to condemn you, but to free you before the cost grows greater. Ask yourself, how many doors are still locked because you are standing at them with the wrong companions? How many blessings are being withheld because God will not allow thieves to sit at your table? How much longer will you risk your health, your peace, your very destiny to protect people who were never protecting you? The truth is this: every weight slows your steps, but the wrong weights suffocate your wings. And if you keep holding them, the price will not just be delays, it could be your very life. That is why heaven speaks with urgency tonight. Release them before your future pays the bill. And now comes the question that lingers like thunder. If God himself is telling you to let them go, will you obey before the final cost is due? Chosen one, there is a mystery in your journey that has left you questioning, aching, and sometimes even accusing yourself. You wondered why the betrayal came so suddenly. You cried when the people you trusted most turned their backs on you without explanation. You felt abandoned when doors slammed shut right after you thought breakthrough was near. But let me tell you a prophetic truth that heaven has been waiting for you to grasp. Not every rejection is your enemy. Not every betrayal is your downfall. Not every closed door is punishment. Some of them were divinely orchestrated, because if God hadn't allowed the cut, you would have bled out from the embrace of the wrong people. Listen carefully. Sometimes the only way God can free you is through the sting of separation. If he whispered to you to walk away, you didn't listen. If he nudged your spirit to set boundaries, you ignored it because your compassion overruled your discernment. And so heaven had to intervene. Heaven had to pull the plug. Heaven had to make them reject you because you would have never let them go on your own. You would have carried them until your bones broke. And so what looked like cruelty was in fact mercy. What felt like abandonment was protection. Think of the betrayals that still burn in your memory. The sudden shift in loyalty, the friend who turned into an enemy overnight, the confidant who twisted your words to poison your name. You thought you lost, but in reality you were spared. Had they stayed close, they would have suffocated the very destiny you were born to carry. That door didn't close because you failed. It closed because your destiny was being suffocated by parasites disguised as friends. And though you didn't see it then, their exit was the greatest gift you could have ever received. Rejection often feels like death, but it is birth in disguise. When someone walks out, you are being pushed into new dimensions that they cannot enter. They weren't designed for where you are going. Their presence was too heavy for the altitude of your calling. And if you carried them any higher, both of you would have crashed. God loves you too much to allow you to fall because of counterfeit alliances. So he allowed the pain, because the pain was the only language you would listen to. And what about those doors that closed right in front of you? The jobs that disappeared, the opportunities that fell apart, the rooms where your name was ignored. You cried, thinking you were forgotten, but God was shielding you. Those doors hid traps. Those rooms held tables filled with betrayal. Those opportunities were poisoned wells. If you had entered, you would have drunk what was never meant for your spirit, and it would have destroyed you from the inside out. So heaven said no, not because you weren't ready, but because those doors carried death disguised as success. This is why you must stop mourning over what left. What you called rejection was God's redirection. What you saw as betrayal was heaven cutting chains. What you experienced as loss was actually subtraction by design, so multiplication could finally come. You are not cursed because people walked away. You are blessed. You are not failing because opportunities fell apart. You are rising. Every separation was prophetic. Every closed door was sacred. Every goodbye was God saying, I am preparing you for something too holy to be contaminated by them. And yet, the tension remains. You look at the empty seats in your life and wonder, will I ever be surrounded again? Will I ever find loyalty that doesn't turn to ash? The answer is yes, but not yet. Not until you learn that your worth does not depend on who stays. Not until you see that solitude is sometimes the loudest proof that heaven has chosen you. Only then will God send those who are truly aligned, not to drain you, but to multiply you. So if they left, let them. If they betrayed, bless them from afar. If the door slammed, don't try to pry it open. God himself locked it, and one day you will thank him. But the question that burns now is this. When God separates you, will you keep running back to what he rescued you from? Or will you finally walk forward into the place he cleared for you? Chosen one, this is the moment where heaven no longer negotiates. This is not gentle counsel. This is not a suggestion whispered softly into your heart. This is a divine command. God is not asking. He is commanding. Stop helping those damned ones. Stop pouring your life into people he already marked for destruction. Stop trying to rescue what he himself has allowed to sink. If you continue, the cost will not just be your peace, it may be your very life. Obedience is not comfortable. It demands cuts that the heart resists. It requires saying no when your emotions scream yes. And yet obedience is the only shield strong enough to cover you now. Pity will not protect you. Compassion without discernment will not save you. Love without boundaries is not holy, it is deadly. God gave you a spirit that feels deeply, but he also gave you ears to hear him. And if you silence his voice to satisfy the cries of manipulators, you are walking into the trap the enemy set for you. This is where the war truly rages, not outside, but inside. Will you honor the voice of heaven or the pull of human need? Will you align with divine order or surrender to emotional guilt? Remember this, pity is the counterfeit of purpose. Pity binds you to cycles that never end, while purpose sets you free to walk the path God carved for you. Every time you choose pity, you step out of alignment. Every time you step out of alignment, you weaken the covering over your life. And the enemy knows this. That is why he sends voices that beg, plead, and guilt trip you into staying chained. Because the moment you obey God radically, the chains break, and their control over you ends forever. Chosen one, radical obedience is not safe, but it is sacred. It means walking away from tables that once fed you. It means ignoring the calls that once made you feel needed. It means closing the door, not out of hatred, but out of survival. And heaven stands behind you whispering, do it. Choose me, choose life. Because if you keep helping those who drain you, you are not helping them. You are disobeying God. You are enabling the very curse that was meant to end with you. Do not be deceived. Some people are not victims. They are vessels of destruction. They were placed in your path to derail your calling. And as long as you keep them near, your blessings will stay strangled. You cannot negotiate with this. You cannot halfway obey. Half obedience is still disobedience. God requires a clean cut, and the moment you make it, the floodgates of heaven will open in ways you never imagined. This is the dividing line. On one side, delayed destiny, drained energy, stolen years. On the other side, clarity, acceleration, and divine protection. But the bridge is obedience, and only you can cross it. God will not drag you, he will command you. The choice is yours. Feel the urgency in these words. Your calling is too rare to be wasted. Your light is too precious to be dimmed. And your future is too great to be buried under the weight of those God has already judged. He is saying it one last time. Stop helping those damned ones, or you may lose what no man can restore. And now, chosen one, here comes the tension that heaven leaves hanging before the final revelation. Will you rise in radical obedience, or will you allow disobedience dressed as compassion to write the last chapter of your story? Chosen one, hear me now with the weight of heaven behind these words. Your compassion is holy, but it was never designed to be squandered on those who spit on God's light. Your heart was forged in fire. Your soul was carved by storms, and your calling is too rare to be wasted on parasites disguised as friends. Heaven says, walk away, do not look back. Do not linger in pity, for if you stay, their curse will become your coffin. This is the hour of separation. This is the moment of divine clarity. You were not chosen to be drained, you were chosen to overflow. You were not anointed to be buried. You were anointed to rise, and heaven thunders this truth over your spirit. Your destiny is too rare, too powerful, too sacred to be drained again. So stand. Shake off the chains of false loyalty. Reject the voice of guilt. Silence the lies that told you that love means slavery. Love means freedom. And the truest form of love is obedience to the one who called you. Your obedience is your weapon. Your obedience is your shield. And your obedience is the final proof that nothing in hell can rewrite what heaven has already declared about you. This is not just another message. This is your moment of decision. Heaven is watching, hell is trembling, and the earth itself is waiting for your response. So comment it now, as a seal upon your life. I will obey God's warning. Write it with authority, with conviction, with fire. For these are not just words. They are your declaration, your shield, and your seal. Rise, chosen one. Govern, chosen one. Shine, chosen one. The time for wasting has ended. The time for reigning has begun. And nothing, no mask, no parasite, no counterfeit will ever bury what God has ignited inside of you. Walk away. Live free. Step into destiny. The future is waiting, and it has your name on it.